to ask you a question, and that is, what is in your life's blueprint?
This is Jeremy Till, the host of the Operator Podcast. We'll be taking you on a journey with us, interviewing some of the top performers in their field on how they operate and get the job done. At the end of the day, we want to be our best. We're going to help provide the information, the data, and the science of how to achieve that, mentally, physically, and spiritually. Let's go! Let's go! Our next guest is Logan Barton of MadFitter and ReadyMade Gear. Logan is a ball of energy, entrepreneur, also a military serviceman. It was an honor to have him in and share his vision for his company and what he is doing. I think this is our first visit with Logan. I know he had a lot more to share about patents, about his experience being a service military man and also being entrepreneur. Very inspiring for possibility for military and servicemen to start their own businesses. He has a military slant to what he does with his kettlebells or grenades. His ReadyMade Gear jump ropes have patent technology due to the swivel and the connection, the magnetism he has that you can connect them in his own personality and to what he can do with it on the rig. Very dynamic with his evolution of the jump rope and what he's doing for CrossFit affiliates and general fitness practitioners. Just an honor to have him on and glad to share his story. It's good to have you on, Logan.
Thank you so much. I'm humbled to be here, man. I've been following you guys for a long time, and tell you truthfully, when I first saw you, I was like, man, does this guy own a brand? Like, does he have his own apparel brand? Because I didn't know that you were a gym owner yet, and then found that you're a gym owner.
Yeah.
Been in the community a long time. So.
What year did you come across my
stuff? I think
like
2009.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2009. We were trying.
Hustling.
We've tried a lot of stuff and failed. Really good at a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. And failure is relative because most people will say, like, when you're selling $150,000 worth of apparel, it's successful, but that's really not what we were trying to do. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, on top of that, I mean, even, and if you calibrate success on monetary or, impact, it just kind of all depends. But it's been this wild journey of really, this is our 12th year as a CrossFit affiliate in December. And we've done the lifestyle brand. We've done, educational courses for affiliates. We've done a magazine publication.
Just testing the waters.
Yeah, really throwing jello at the wall and seeing what stuck. But I think that it was ultimately a timing issue. It was when the right time to produce what it is that we're going to do. And I think now, Nicole's been with me for 11 of the 12 years. And we've learned and grown and just experienced. And I think now it's like really coming into clarity about, what we're about, what we're doing.
Good.
And my message has become really clear. And, I'm interviewing you, but I'm talking a little bit more than I typically do. But, what really got in my head is posture. And so Tony Robbins has been very instrumental in me in my entrepreneurial career. And I've gone through his Unleash the Power Within. I've gone through his university courses, and he really is about peak state in your physical, physiology. And so this past year, I just really started to think about posture, and in a posture of hunger. And what it looks like to be hungry, and as an entrepreneur, and it's not like physically hungry, you might be laying on the floor moaning, but like, emotionally, spiritually, hungry to go to the next level, and what that looks like. And there's a mental posture and a physical posture of like what is an entrepreneur that's hungry to take it to the next level. And it's funny, bring up Gary Vee, I got my hands on Crush It probably back in early like 2010. And, cause I would go to South by Southwest in the early days and to the Interactive Festival because I was super enamored with social platforms. But what I got was, really coming into where we are now is, what is your intention?
Mm-hmm.
What are you really trying to do for people? Because, Zig Ziglar says the more people you help, the more success you'll have. That's not a direct quote, but essentially help as many people as you can and you will see success yourself.
Right. I believe it. I always believe you have to give to get.
Yeah.
So for when I have a business partners or talk to people, it's like, I want to know their why, because, we'll see what they're thinking. But if they're like motivated just for money, I'm just like, I stay away. It's like a red flag for me. I'm like, man, that's not where we're at. Even though money's good and I have to have it, it's like the blood to the business. But you have to give to get, man. You have to give a lot to get. And that's what I felt like I did in the very, very beginning. I gave a lot more than I probably should have gave.
Yeah.
And now I'm recovering. But
I think there's a value add proposition, and that's where I think that we find a good balance with that, because you want to be able to add tremendous amount of value, but at the same time you want a return on that investment. And I think it's with the right intentions, because with the wrong intentions that can come off wrong or gross, or why is this person, what are they doing because they want something in return? If you have pure intentions, that you have your heart in the right place, then you can create win-win dynamics, and you can have success. And so kind of transitioning to MadFitter and your business, the kettlebell is pretty pivotal for me. I got introduced to kettlebell training by a website called ReadyMade training, and it was Coach Davies was kind of like the leader of that website, and he used to write these crazy blog post about like what it means to be a renegade and train like next level. And I was like, 20.
You're all fired up. You're like, yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to be that.
Yeah, it's just, really calling it out in the market. And I did summer strength conditioning camps for kids back then. And my mentor in that space, who was running that business, introduced me to kettlebells, but we didn't have kettlebells. We used dumbbells for swings and snatches and cleans, because we didn't have the actual physical kettlebells. And I was looking into renegade training back in 2004 to get my certification, to start using for my training. And then that's when CrossFit came on the scene, and I was like, hey, CrossFit has kettlebells, barbells, everything.
Right.
So why don't it was more affordable for me to get a level 1 cert than go to St. Paul and get the kettlebell certification. So that was the journey that I took, which has been the different path, since, the last 12 years. But the kettlebell was such a vital tool in my tool belt that I just loved.
Right.
The uniqueness of the ability to take it with you, the versatility, and it's a great full body workout.
Well, it wasn't necessarily, that wasn't the goal, was a kettlebell. I actually, I started by wanting to do a brand, make t-shirts to raise money. Yeah. And so I ended up crazy. I took out my retirement that I had in the Navy. It wasn't very much. It was like saved up like $12,000 in this TSP account. And I took that money out. And I started putting it into apparel, and I basically wanted to make some shirts, but then I didn't know that shirts were tough. So I actually paid $12,000 for the logo, the MadFitter logo, because that's all I got out of that deal. Everything else was just garbage. And I had on the logo has the damn, grenade kettlebell. And I looked at my wife and I said, we're going to make kettlebells. And she's like, you're crazy. I said, and we're going to the CrossFit Games. And she's like, you're crazy. So that's
what year was that?
This was like in 2013, 2012, into 2012, 2013. I was messing around with apparel, and it was just to raise money. Like I wanted to do that fitness scholarship deal I was telling you about earlier. And so, I was like just searching for something to get into.
Yeah.
I didn't really have the wrist wraps yet. I mean, that's another story, but I was going to do wrist wraps first, but then the kettlebell was on that logo, and I was like, man, I got to make this kettlebell. Nobody's making this thing. And it's just, that was it. That was the...
So let's even rewind. I mean,
I don't even know anything about, I didn't know anything about kettlebells besides I used them in CrossFit.
Yeah.
But I was like...
It's so unique that the kettlebell in CrossFit is kind of like on a lot of people's logos. So you're saying the artist actually drew
this logo right here, that whole with the little kettlebell at the very end.
Yes.
And I was like, man, because I told him, I said, man, I'm a military, I'm active duty. I want something in my logo that says this dude's military, and that was the grenade kettlebell was it. So
That's
it came back.
awesome.
It was actually started off as like a little painted thing. You know how when you start, it just grows and grows and grows into something else. And that was the final product.
So you active military, Air Force,
Navy.
Oh my, I'm done with the podcast.
Leaving. No, it's all right.
Navy.
Yeah, Navy guy.
So you were sharing a little bit before the podcast about when did you get into military?
I joined the military in 2004, early 2004, and I've been in ever since.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then did you go from college or from high school into...
I went from the plumber and pipe fitter union. I was in the union for 2 years after high school. I got accepted into that in Ohio. And then,
Is that where you're from, Ohio?
I don't claim it. Actually, I don't normally claim Ohio. I actually left 13 years, 14 years ago, and I've pretty much never been back. I'm born in Colorado Springs, and then I moved to Ohio when I was in high school, middle school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ohio's okay. I went from the city, and then I got moved out into the country, which was good. I love the country, and it was an awesome time. I went to Baltimore, Ohio high school. And just, I had to get away and join the Navy and went to San Diego.
Yeah.
Never went back.
So I know you're married, you have 3 children.
Mm-hmm.
And so between joining military and then the creation of MadFitter, what was going on there that created this entrepreneurial startup kind of concept in your brain?
Okay, so crazy. It really was CrossFit. We started a CrossFit gym, CrossFit Rhoda. And then, it just grew me up a little bit. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that was it's a thing, but it just, I felt like invincible. I started CrossFitting in 2010. And then by 2012, I was in Rhoda, Spain. And I don't know. My mind just had a chemical imbalance shift. It was like, chink, you can do whatever you want. And I was like, I'm going to make stuff. I felt like an entrepreneur robot. And I had just always had ideas and just...
It gave you confidence.
You know what? And what it was that, that fear factor that, they talk about, you have 5 seconds. If you have 5 seconds, you better make a decision or your body will tell you that you can't do it. It did. If you can do the filthy 50 in under 18 minutes and you're like, man, I just did a filthy 50 today, I feel good. And so then, I wanted to do something. I wanted to make something, and I felt like I had a pretty good idea what I wanted to do. And just took all the risk, took all the money, and just put it in it.
Mm-hmm. And so going back to your family, you and your wife got married what year?
So funny stories. I won't bore you with all the details, but I ended up marrying my wife after only 8 weeks of knowing her. I met her the first day. So I was in boot camp. I got my sea bag. I flew into San Diego. I met her at the airport. She's the first girl I met in California. I married her 8 weeks later.
Whoa.
Long story short, went to Vegas, did a Vegas wedding. Everybody was like, you're not going to make it. But, we've been married almost 12 years. That's pretty awesome.
Okay, there's a whole different podcast coming up.
I know, man. And people always ask me. They're always like, they'll in the military, people they get married young. Usually, they think people get married young, but they'll ask me. So, when's a good time? I'm like, I'm definitely not the right person to talk to you because I married Bria 8 weeks knowing her. Didn't know anything about each other besides I knew she was the one.
Now, was she military too, or she out there lived in San Diego?
She was going to school there, SDSU.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then how many years into y'all's marriage did y'all have kids?
5. We were married 5 years before I had a kid.
That's awesome.
Crazy. Well, it was good.
Right.
We moved around. We moved from San Diego to Virginia. Then popped out our first kid. Then went to Spain, popped out our second. And then went to Guam, popped out our third. Well, I guess I didn't pop out anything. She popped them out. But yeah, we have had kids in Spain and Guam too.
Got it. So, entrepreneur, doing this, what was your mindset? You wanted to create a lifestyle brand. You wanted to have apparel. Got the kettlebell going. I know the first time I got introduced to your bell was at the CrossFit Games.
Yeah.
You said we're going to that because you just wanted to put the bell in people's hands.
Yeah. So, I only had the very first. So my very first product was a wrist wrap called the Hero Wrap. And they're made out of donated military uniforms. It's really the love story of MadFitter. So each one has a little bio card of a service member that's donated. We've had 3,000 people donate their uniforms. And then if a service member donates, we send them back a free set of wrist wraps. but if they donate more, then they get more, whatever. And the gyms really liked it because in every single CrossFit gym, there's veterans, there's firefighter, there's LEO. So now we've had 3,000 people donate their uniforms, and then the kettlebell came second. We went to the CrossFit Games, and I sold 150 kettlebells and 500 pairs of wrist wraps, and that was the first time I ever sold anything. I never sold one thing ever besides the CrossFit Games 2014. So like that, then so you imagine, you've never done a show, you've never sold anything, and you go to the CrossFit Games, and we crushed it. We were crushing at the CrossFit Games, and like I knew this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I want to make stuff that like means something to people. I want people to use my product. And I listen to a lot of Grant Cardone. I don't know if you listen to Grant Cardone. So Grant, man, he talks about like flicking and dinging the universe with stuff and like creating products that last hundreds of years. I mean, this kettlebell will last, hundreds of years. Way before I'm gone, this thing will still be on the planet. So that's cool.
That's great.
Yeah.
And so in the evolution from 2014 to 2017, I mean, you've learned a lot, I imagine. And so
I just make shit up. I'm just always making it up. No. But yeah, I learn a lot. You definitely learn a lot.
So what would you say in the last 3 years? I know you have a new product, your jump rope.
Yeah.
I know you got your sandbag, your hand wraps.
Yeah.
So you've evolved a line of different products. But what would you say in those 3 years of coming to the jump ropes have recently come online? What would you say top two learning, curves have been in the last 3 years?
One would be the numbers. So you can't just make shit up forever, So one's the numbers, and you have to like. And this was a conversation that Ryan talked to me a long time ago. Ryan Williams from Demon Bell at the time I met him. Was, man, you have to have something that the margins hit. That you have to have things that margins are there, profits there. So that's why I started making all. So the wrist wraps, the kettlebells don't have great margins, and like. More of a pain in the ass than anything, and Ryan will tell you the same thing. So I started adding a lot of stuff, and I've probably added a lot more than I should have. And recently, last year, I got rid of shit. If it wasn't hitting 40-50% margins, I got rid of it because it was wasting too much time, too much assets. My wife spends a lot of time on the computer doing all the orders, shipping all the orders. And if you're not making any money, then why are you doing it for? You know what I mean? Like, you have to make a little bit of money, so that way the business can grow a little bit more. So that's why we started adding more stuff. But now we're at I think a pretty good line of stuff.
Yeah. So in the development, I know you guys were at the Fittest Games this last year, and
we crushed it. It was awesome. I tell you what the most humbling part is normally when we come into a large show like that, you were the first person that we ever had we sponsored we sponsored like what, I think 30 or 40 of these kettlebells, right? So that was really cool for us because we've never done that before. We never like gave a whole bunch of kettlebells out, and then it's perfect because each one went to a winner. You know what I mean? So now not only did we have a prize that everybody was getting, it was just awesome, man. It's cool. People loved it. We got a lot of love on social media.
Yeah. That we have on the video of this on our YouTube page has the kettlebell sitting here. Turned it into a trophy. So it was
cool.
Pretty neat.
Yeah, it was cool.
And so I know my wife loved y'all stuff, and she was helping with sponsorship stuff, and so I had to meet you and all that stuff. So, fast forward half a year later,
here we are. Here we are.
Yeah. And so
cool.
Now I know online you got your new jump ropes, in which you're kind of explaining that this is a different company or a standalone from MadFitter. And so tell us about your jump ropes, because you got a lot of momentum, a lot of excitement based on these.
So the jump rope company came about because I wanted to have a more clean and a sexier, if you will, company where I can like make other products that necessarily don't have to be tied into the military. And the jump ropes came because, one, they just it's a good margin product, and I was hell bent on making a jump rope that was American made. Most jump ropes are not. They're made in China or somewhere else. Not saying they're terrible jump ropes. It's just I wanted to make an American-made jump rope, and we had some really good ideas. I always see like things as problems, and I always want to try to fix things. And so like I know the gyms generally have a jump rope problem. Like they they're all hanged up on their cable or whatever. So the jump rope actually is like the only piece of equipment in a gym really that's kind of disposable. People will tell you they throw their jump rope away when the cable breaks, and like all you have to do is get another cable. You know what I mean? Why are you throwing it away? So I kind of wanted to make a jump rope that was quality to where it would be the last jump rope you ever had to deal with. So I started making jump ropes.
Mm-hmm. And you were showing that there's no screws.
Yep.
For the actual rope that goes into the attachment. And so this is something that
we got. So on that jump rope, we don't have the actual magnetic one here, but we have 3 patents on that jump rope right there, which is pretty crazy. You have patents in jump ropes, and it's pretty crazy to think you can even reinvent the wheel a little bit. So the toolless part is just the cable being able to go through with no screwdriver. You can adjust the length. What's really the science behind this jump rope? Let me grab it. Mm-hmm. Okay. So the science is actually, it's the 45-degree angle right here. That 45-degree angle, it keeps the cable from coming back into the handle. So people are crushing their double unders, and they're PRing with this specifically because of the 45-degree angle. And I bought a domain 2 days ago called Double Under PR. We haven't posted anything on it. It's just going to be videos of people PRing with this jump rope. Because I had a guy hit 315 double unders at that competition at Naturally Fit this weekend in Austin. And he's like, dude, he's like, my PR was 230. And he hit 315. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. People are getting some serious number with the double under. And it's really that. This is not like so... And I say the other one, we have some other cool stuff. So the other one has a magnet in it, so the gym owner, the homeowner can just hang it up on anything metal in the gym. I like magnets because the gym has lots of metal, so you should utilize magnets more, maybe. So
essentially the rope can just stick to the rig.
Sure. Yeah. And so you could you literally, so everybody, like gyms, you can walk in, they have chalk buckets by pull-up bars, whatever. You could just hang up your jump rope by every pull-up bar you have in the gym, or gym owners can just, keep their jump ropes longer because they're not hanging up on the cable, and that's that. So we have basically a few other products that we're going to launch with ReadyMade Gear. We had soft releases on some stuff. We're making a rig also. A rig is like a standalone rig that's... It's just really cool. I mean, it has a GHD on it.
Is that for garage gyms, like for home gyms?
It can be. It was marketed that way in the very beginning. I bought it from somebody and it came out 5 years ago, but it was put on the shelf. It's one of those things that I thought was a good idea to buy from this person and develop it later. And so it has I wish I could pull it up, and I wish we had it right here because that'd be great. But it has a GHD that detaches, and you can put it back in so you can get it out of the way. There's some other stuff that's really cool. So ReadyMade Gear is going to be kind of like that. It's going to be like the market I'd like to go with that rig specifically would be like fire stations, police stations, but mostly hotels. I want to get into the hotel market. I want to go in there and create like these things we're going to call the Ready Room, and just make really cool feng shui gyms, workout space in hotels.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's big. I mean, that's like, that would be like big ticket stuff a little bit later. Right now we're focused on jump ropes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you've mentioned Grant Cardone and Gary Vee and some of these thought leaders in the space of success and all that stuff. Who else, or what are some of your favorite reads or listens?
I just did Start With Why, and I got that from a buddy of mine. He sent it to me, Charles. He owns CrossFit Orange Park. That's another book I just read. I don't know. I audiobook a lot. So I'm in the Navy. I'm a police officer. So I'm in a police car a lot. And I'm going to pull up my book list here and I'm going to show you. I'm trying to hit like 10, 15, 20 books a year. Audiobooking or reading myself. So my last book was Money Master the Game, Tony Robbins. I just read a book called Profit First. And that's a pretty good book. That's like different mindset about profiting, which I liked. It was good. It was like, you know what, sometimes in business you take, how he explained it was this. You created a business, CrossFit Central, and all the other things. It's like you're Dr. Frankenstein. You created something out of nothing, just like that. And then you're growing this thing. It's your baby. And all of a sudden, it turns into a monster, a money monster. and you're making money, but you're putting more money back into the business. So profit first would be like, hey, let's take a little money and let's put that aside for us. Even if it's 3%, 5%, 10%, let's pay us first before we put money back in it. And I think the concept would be like, when you buy a brand new toothpaste, you buy a toothpaste. When you first get it and you first open it, you put a lot of toothpaste on your toothbrush. But when it's empty, you're squeezing it and you're comfortable with just having a little bit of toothpaste on the toothbrush. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of how business is too with money. When you have the money, it's going back into the business. And you think you need a lot of money back in the business, and you probably don't. You probably operate in the very beginning on minimal cash flow. So that's where I'm kind of going back, and I'm trying to go back to squeezing stuff, because I dump a lot of money back into shit too. So I just want to be able to make. I want to be able to profit and then put some to the side for the family. Yeah, for us. Yeah.
And so you're saying with your family, your wife homeschools your children?
She does. She's amazing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's crazy, because I don't know if our kids are just more crazy than other people's kids, but they are crazy. The 7 to 5-year-old that just, they're boys. And then the 3-year-old girl, she's learned from the 5-year-old and the 7-year-old, so she's like crazier than both of them. and so my wife, man, she just homeschools them every day. She loves it. And why we like to homeschool is because we're on the road a lot. We travel a lot. And, we can do things. We can teach them things that we want to teach them. So like my 7-year-old, and I want to teach my family, my boys and my daughter, like how to, in my mind, how to be successful in today. Like today, we talked about all those other guys that say, hey, the time is not like the 1950s. You're not going to get successful by just going to school, getting a college degree, and then just saying I'm here in the world with this college degree. So my 7-year-old's really funny. We'll go to shows and he'll want something. And I say, hey, you got to sell 2 jump ropes. And that little dude sells 2 jump ropes. Mm-hmm. He'll literally get the money, and he's able to talk to people. And I think that's a good thing too. So, being a people person, teaching them how to be out and engaging with people, just being a traveling family on the road. It's an adventure. So we're still in the growing phase too.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So yeah, those are the last couple books I read, Profit First and the Tony Robbins, because I've been trying to figure out different ways to, just secure my future. I'm always in the future, man. I'm always wanting to if it's investing, because I don't know too much about investing. So I want to be able to listen to somebody that knows more about it, and then take a stab at it, put my money where they think it's a good idea. So investing in stocks, I don't necessarily do stocks. I have a couple of stocks, but, IRAs, Roths and stuff is what I'm invested in long time. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's good.
Because I've already dumped all my money into the damn businesses, so we're broke there. So I have to make sure we're good in the future. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the idea is that you're going to build and grow your business. Mm-hmm. How long have you been in business with MadFitter?
3 years.
Yeah. So, the traditional, arc of a business is about 7 years, and it's from the creation of a product and developing it, and, all things aside, working, properly. That's where you're going to see, the fruition of your business into what it can be. But it's great because you have a, product, and that's the, and I pull that information from one of the founders of, or he came in and bought into one of the coconut oil lines, and he started just talking about not coconut oil, coconut juice. Zakoya, is that how you say it? What is it? Which one is it? Yeah, coconut water.
I think so, yeah.
Zambani. No, I don't have any idea. I just
the coconut water. But he just went through a scenario of the different products that he'd gone through, and he had launched successfully and turned into multi-million-dollar sales. And he tried to, he thought he was the guru and processed all the right spokespersons, all the right, the manufacturing, all the product and how it was going to be done. And they hit the market and it exploded in positive sales in the first 2 months. And then it just sank. And they had put millions into it because it was going to be $1 million selling. It's like, we tried to take 7 years and condense it down to 12 months. And it's just, just not there. And when we really think about what the long game is and what really working for a longer stretch of how it is and, you know, what you're going to do to develop what it is. And so we got to have that longer time frame in the sense of how we're going to build and do. It's not going to happen overnight. But, you know, we learn along the way and
you know, just to come back to a question you asked, like some of the things I've learned, and you just, while you're talking, I'm thinking about it. So I said the profit first, knowing the numbers, but then the most important is finding the right team. So that's what happened in the very beginning. Like I had a good team, but I told you before, I bought out 3 partners. Man, if you put a bunch of billionaires in the room, they're not going to tell you that they're how they got successful was, you know, like, well, I had a lot of money. No, it was because they had the right team there. They partnered with the right people. Partnerships is what make people successful. You got your team in here. You see what I'm saying? Like the team is what makes people successful. So now I think I'm growing faster because now I'm able to like really find the right people to help me go to that next level, whether it's in retail stores, whether it's just, you know, sucking it up and getting out of my comfortable zone and like, you know, and calling people up on the phone and trying to be that door salesman or whatever. But, team, partnerships.
No doubt.
Now you may continue to what you were saying.
No, you're good. You're good. Well, I think that I didn't know. I always like to ask Nicole if she had any specific questions because she has some good ones. She's soon going to be sitting next to me interviewing people.
I think you have to do whatever it takes, right? Grant Cardone tells that's one of his big things. You know, whatever it takes. But you really do. You have to do whatever it takes in order to like get your dreams and goals. And so me and my wife, we just sat down and just we want to go all in as best as we can with me being still active duty, and we need to get some more cash flow so we can, you know, run our family and then also help run the businesses. So we just sold everything we had, and transitioned ourselves into a travel trailer full time. 3 kids, 1 dog, and a cat. No privacy. It's crazy. I love it. It's an adventure. We actually have a little door I don't know, a doormat outside. It says this is where the adventure starts or something, and it really is. So we just being homeschooling the kids. You know, we have a trade show. We just load up our stuff, hit the road, set up shop, high five people, tell them about MadFitter, and then get our asses back down to Corpus Christi where I'm in the Navy.
That's so good. Whatever it takes.
Dude, whatever it takes. You have to do it. And that's another thing is just taking action, man. Take action. Do whatever it takes. If that's the goal, if you have a goal, I mean, you just got to do it, man. You got to just, it's crazy.
That's good.
I'm crazy.
It's
Probably.
good.
I have like, and people, you know, I have ideas all the time. Everybody has ideas. You just have to act on your idea. But I think ideas are like currency nowadays. Like, we're in the era where if you can figure out ways to like take an idea and make money off of it, that's where it's at. That's a good business to be in. The idea maker. I'm gonna make a business card that has like all these things, like, because my business card says head janitor on it. People always get a kick out of that. They're like, head janitor. But, you know, I want to be like you know, like just little sayings, like, you know, the sayer of things, you know, the idea maker, or it's just, you know, funny things. The entire whole business card will just be things that I do and just have my name right in the middle of it. I don't know. Lots of ideas, man.
I like it. Well, good, man. Well, we see you as a partner with the Operator Podcast.
Yeah.
I know you're involved with the Fittest Games, and we're hoping to see you at the 2017-18 Fittest Games and everything that we're up to. And love the bells, love everything you're doing, and we're excited to be, you know, supporters of everything and help you get out there in the marketplace.
Very excited. I'm very excited because, one, I love Austin. I love your guys' gym, love your guys' brand, love the Fittest Games. I think the Operator Podcast is going to be excellent. So we can come in and like can do some co-branding stuff, and I'd love to be that guy, you know. So I'm here for you.
Right on, brother. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us on the Operator Podcast. Please join us on our virtual platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and we will see you soon.